Welcome, everybody, to the Ring Generals podcast. My name is Nick Nenad. Alongside me is Eric.
What's happening?
And the RKJ man.
Let's talk that talk, y'all. What's up, 1 and 6, Nick?
What's up with me?
Hypocritical Nick.
Hypocritical
There's not
We
a lot
got
of wins.
Easy E over here.
Easy E.
What's up to all my ring generals out there, y'all?
Blasphemous RKJ man over here. Blastradamus.
Blackstradamus, man.
No, it's Blastradamus. That's your new name.
No,
We're
it's
combining
Blackstradamus.
and black.
Blackstradamus.
Blastradamus.
Stay black.
Just say Blackstradamus.
No, it's Blastradamus.
What's so great about Blash?
Well, blasphemous.
It's too
and then
hard to say. People
not-
can't pronounce that little SFH thing.
Well,
So you just got to say Black.
okay, that's fine. The K's are easier to pronounce. I
Okay.
agree.
Yes.
But see, people lisp.
I can use the other term I use, but we can't say this on the podcast.
What is that one?
What is that?
It's not the F word or the C word or anything.
It's the N word.
It's the N
Oh,
word.
the N word.
Yeah, I can't.
Oh.
Well,
can't
you
say
can.
that.
You can use
Well,
it.
you
but
can use it. Me and Eric just
Yeah,
can't.
we
I can't
can.
say it on the podcast. I'm
Well,
not saying
do you want
that.
me to put it in the tags?
No.
It actually does work.
They will have
I'm gonna
white
put the
help us
N
out.
word in the tags next, and we're
Yeah.
gonna see how many likes the video gets.
Yeah, all by
or
neo-Nazis.
dislikes. Yeah, exactly. We're gonna
All-
get that. Yeah, we're gonna get that neo-Nazi base from the south. That's what we're going for. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. Okay,
the fuck?
so this podcast got off to a sort of funny start, but we want to.
I always get off to this.
Kind of like the last one.
It's a nice way to ease into a very tough subject,
Oh, yeah,
and that
man.
is obviously if you're any fan of wrestling or just fan of Roman Reigns in general, you know what happened to him last
Everybody's
Monday.
seen it. Everybody,
And,
not even wrestling fans. My brother.
I found out about it before I even watched Raw from people that don't watch wrestling, and that is that Roman Reigns obviously diagnosed with leukemia. He's battling it for the second time in his life.
Very serious.
Yeah, it's a form of cancer if you don't know, and he's going to be out. He's essentially kind of semi-retiring here. Professional wrestling, I know
I
I wouldn't say he's
say-
semi-retiring.
well, he kind of I mean, you don't know how it's going to affect you though. He's going to get his body's going to shrink. He's going to be debilitated from it.
Well-
and potentially even worse, which is the sad thing.
Well,
so
I would like to know what type of leukemia he has because there's like
yeah, I can look
four.
that up.
There's 4 different types of leukemia, I believe, and on top of that, there's several different treatments. And from what I've heard, and from what Nick, me and you, we watch football a lot, and we've seen people like Eric Berry come back from this. The Indianapolis Colts, their former head coach, what was
Yeah,
his name
Chuck
again?
Pagano.
He came. Actually, your boy Bruce Arians got his chance because of Chuck Pagano.
that's true.
Pagano having a leukemia. So I definitely think it's a situation where Roman Reigns will come back from this. I just don't know how long it's going to be and what form of leukemia he has. So that's the concern I have right now. But man, I mean, that promo on Monday night was really, really gut-wrenching because as much as I have called Roman Reigns several things, okay, I've called him the UTI infection. I've called him.
Yeah, that's a little sketchy now.
I've called him some very mean things, but I've never called him that. I never
A beta
meant to-
male?
Yeah,
Well, you're calling the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't mean ill will toward Joe.
Yeah,
I don't know
Joe,
how to say
his
his
real
last
name.
And I said that in
him.
one of my rants. Actually, the rant where we went to Raw in February when you guys were cheering him, and I said you guys were getting manipulated by the WWE. I said it. I was like, look, this is nothing bad against Roman Reigns, the person. I'm just saying this towards Roman Reigns, the character. And, I liked what I heard and saw from Joe. Joe is, if you don't know, Joe is actually the real name for Roman Reigns.
I don't know.
like-
Yeah, his
not
his
Samoa
last
Joe.
name is Samoan or Hawaiian. I don't know how to pronounce it.
N-O-Y.
N-O-Y?
N-O-Y.
N-O-Y?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
NY.
So,
So I liked what I heard and I saw from him, and I definitely, when he comes back, I want to see more of Joe and Roman Reigns. That's what I think.
that's a good point. I mean, because obviously it's a little different, and you could even hear the crowd because I just watched it today, and you could hear the crowd. The crowd was giving him his normal reaction. It probably would have been weird watching it for myself if I didn't know what was already going to happen. I just kind of wanted to see the speech.
Yeah.
But he comes out without his Shield gear, without his gimmick. Pretty much, he's not his
Yeah.
gimmick, and he comes out, and the crowd doesn't seem to get it at first. And then right when he announces that he had leukemia, the crowd shut the hell up and was like, "Oh shit,
This is real life."
Like, there was no
and
boo or no
then
cheer.
Immediately you saw the crowd, and this is what most people's reactions have been. Almost all people I've seen is that you realize this isn't the character talking anymore. This was Joe, Anui or something.
NY.
NY. Okay, Joe
yeah.
NY, the guy, and he was stating that he was going to have this serious battle. And by the way, it said they haven't specifically said what kind of leukemia he has, so we don't know yet. But, and so I thought the crowd echoing is the same thing that we are thinking here. You know, we're not trying to say ill will. We talk bad about Corey Graves' character. We talk bad about Roman Reigns' character. We've talked bad about Vince McMahon. But if Vince McMahon all of a sudden has a heart attack the next day, we're not going to be like, oh, well, he deserved it because of his book. No, it's just we're talking shit.
It's just
we talk shit sometimes, but we
Yeah.
obviously this is terrible, and I hope Roman Reigns comes back as soon as possible. I never thought I'd say that, but
Yeah.
I think Roman, it
And here I
sucks.
was-
Like
he makes a speedy
title.
recovery,
And
if
here
you
I
ask
was,
me.
and here I was wishing Roman Reigns to be off of my television, but I didn't want it to be this way.
No, yeah, it's a joke. I mean,
Yeah.
I think
like-
most people kind of had the same deal, right? Like if you're a hardcore wrestling fan, you wanted Roman Reigns off your television. Well, we got our wish, but it's a terrible wish.
Or
Now
I-
all of us are just
we
stabbing
feel like-
ourselves in
we
the
feel
chest.
like shit now.
RKJ man, do you know if you're saying this due to your character, your gimmick, or you're actually saying this in real life?
Exactly.
You know?
I'm saying both.
Yeah.
Character, RKJ man,
Yeah,
Ryan,
because
the person.
we all somewhat play characters on this show too.
yeah.
And we're not. This is not exactly how we are in real life.
Or
We're going to be
at the house,
Yeah,
know?
I'm not going to be shouting about wrestling in my normal life all the time, all the way
Right.
around.
We
So
have other things to do, That's the thing.
exactly. So we we even boost ourselves up. But if one of us something happened, obviously like it's just. We all feel the same thing, and we wish Roman Reigns the speediest in recoveries. I hope he comes back as soon as possible because I feel like they're not going to book this Universal title thing better. Now I feel like they're going to screw it up worse than they screwed up with him in a way.
Now,
But
the question I have for you
know.
guys is this. Do you think that when Roman Reigns comes back, this may actually help his character on screen? Because now he's choosing to take this battle public. That's what they said in the statement, because he wants to make sure, he wants to raise awareness for leukemia and leukemia research. Do you think possibly that Roman Reigns will get more cheers from the crowd when he comes back? You have to.
Eric, what do you think?
I think so. If anything, this is going to boost up his character, and this is also going to go out to all the hardcore fans who have been really hard on him. And I think they're going to say, "Oh wow, I was really hard on Roman Reigns. Maybe I should have never said to him, or maybe I should have never told him in front of his face, in front of his family, about how you suck. How
That's terrible.
Yeah,
Yelling at his family.
Yeah,
like that.
You're just pissed because Roman Reigns won't get you an autograph, but he's sitting there with his three
I know,
children trying
yeah.
to feed them.
I'm sorry to say, guys, but he's a human being. So
Yeah, now more than ever, he's a human being.
Yeah, I
right?
mean-
it's not like it says this Superman punch is this thing, and even Superman can get leukemia in a way. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's just it sucks.
all your favorite superheroes.
Yeah,
Okay?
I
There you
also think he'll get a good reaction because someone like me, if this guy actually comes back and is able to wrestle at the same pace he already was, that's more impressive than anything I've ever seen any wrestler do, to be honest. Because you can't have a guy, you can have a guy tear his ACL or tear his quad or whatever, but that's more of a physical thing with your leg
Yeah.
or your shoulder or your arm. That's a little different. But if you come back from a disease that's going to debilitate your body and it's going to make you sick, and he's probably going to lose all of his hair and all this stuff.
Oh my
That's
God.
Oh,
yeah,
jeez,
that,
dude, I can't even imagine
That's
that.
the one thing that's
exactly that's going to suck.
that's
his
his
hair is his
trademark.
gimmick.
That's scary.
Yeah,
That's his trademark,
no,
man.
Yeah, so that to me is more impressive than even Daniel Bryan coming back from concussions.
Yeah.
Right? Because Roman Reigns ain't even going to be able to hit a promo while he's under leukemia. Right? Daniel Bryan was
not
able to be
doing
the You're not going to see Roman Reigns on TV until he's back and ready to wrestle. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be impressive to me. I'll cheer him. I wasn't a fan of him at all. But I cannot wait till he comes back. That's gonna be the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
For me, that's gonna be the craziest wrestling thing
might-
I've seen.
Well,
Besides Vince McMahon coming back from the dead.
how long do you think
That's-
he's going to be out for?
I don't know. I don't really know a lot about cancer and how long
Well-
certain cancers take and stuff. I assume it's maybe a year plus.
My mom has had cancer twice. She had
Okay.
cancer before I was born in the 1980s. She actually went to Duke University Hospital because it was a special type of cancer, so she can only get treated at Duke. If not, she was gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's had cancer. She had breast cancer about 4 years ago, but it was only stage 1, so she got away with it. Cancer, if you have the certain type of treatment, if you have the right treatments, you can beat it pretty fast. And I would imagine that he got on this quick. And leukemia is one of those cancers. I don't want to say, hey, it's an easy cancer to beat. Cancer, like Aaron Riff said on his video, he said cancer is cancer. But the fact of the matter is this, leukemia is one of those things that we've seen multiple people come back from, especially since me and Nick.
Well, you were listening to some people too right before we started the podcast.
Eric Berry.
Yeah, Eric Berry, the safety for the Chiefs.
Chuck Pagano. Yeah, and how long did they have those leukemia for? I know
Eric Berry, obviously, it wasn't that long because it did only seem like he missed 1 year. So, and to come back and play football, that's what I'm saying. Eric Berry is like one of the most impressive football players to me because he came back to play football, which is just as hard as doing the wrestling stuff, in my opinion. Going on the road and all that stuff. So,
and then Chuck Pagano, he came back. I think he might have came back in the year he had cancer or whatnot. Or did he ever come?
Well, no, but Bruce Arians was that was about a year too. Okay, it was a long time.
So we're looking at about a year for Roman Reigns. So a lot of things can happen in that year, but I would have to think that when he comes back, you've got to prop him up. And you've got to have something ready for him when he comes back, and he's gonna get a great pop. I'm looking forward to that pop in a year when he comes back, and this also saves a year off his career too as well. Get some time to spend with your family and whatnot, and enjoy everything. And as it's commonly said, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So. When we see him, we're going to cheer him. Back in 2008, John Cena came back, surprise, at MSG in the Royal Rumble and got a huge pop.
Everybody's like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And
then here's the thing too. Roman Reigns eventually will be like, if he starts getting heat again, he starts getting heat again. That's just what happens. Right. I'm sure he'll embrace the fact that he even will get heat and be back in the ring, right? So it's not. He even said in his speech, he said the fact that you guys gave me a reaction was all I needed. Because as you know, in the wrestling business, the reaction is really all that matters. There are guys that come out. I've seen Apollo Crews come out to no reaction.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Stardust got no reaction at one of the Royal Rumbles. And so
Leo Rush.
That is terrible.
Oh, no. Leo Rush gets booze.
Yeah.
He gets X-Pac heat.
Yeah. At the time, Bobby Lashley this year wasn't really getting a reaction. So the fact that Roman Reigns was getting a reaction, whether we give it shit or not, meant that people actually cared somewhat about his character, and it boosts you up. So, he'll get his reaction or whatever, but then eventually people, once he gets battles back from this disease, he'll become Roman Reigns again, and we'll give him crap if we don't think his character is good and we don't think his promos are good. We're not just going to always defend him because he had leukemia also. So it's like...
It's called being fair.
We're going to be fair with it.
You just got to have the balance.
But right now, I'm going to be unfair. I'm going to say this guy, I'm going to cheer him 100% until he's done with this. Because you don't want anybody to ever have this kind of
I got no heat with Roman Reigns, so, Roman,
he doesn't have heat. Yeah,
of course, I would never have heat with this fool.
Now, there are some idiots out there.
Well, so is it time to
think?
Is it time for a little Ryan rants?
I mean, it's going to be a real quick Ryan rants.
It's time for a little Ryan rants.
Look, man, y'all dumbasses out there saying that Roman Reigns is going through a work. Are y'all stupid as fuck or what? So let me explain something to you. When a grown man comes out in his street clothes and his jewelry, and he's literally visibly crying and visibly emotional, y'all think that some way, somehow, that Vince McMahon said, oh, go out there and say you have leukemia just so you can get cheered.
That's
no,
sick.
man. No, the man has had leukemia since he was 22, and for 11 years he has been in remission, but now he finds it back. And I was crying because I heard that when he was 22, when he had leukemia, he had no job. He was broke. His his wife was expecting their first child. The man was struggling, and the man has come back all the way from that. He came back to be one of the best WWE superstars out there, and now he's battling again, and you take away his moment just for the fact that you think that this is a work? Do you think that they're that cruel? Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the Vince McMahon situation in Saudi Arabia because, yeah, that's some bullshit in itself. But I don't think the WWE, with all the shit that's went down over the years with the Chris Benoits and all this stuff, I don't think they would try to capitalize on Roman Reigns having leukemia just so he could get sympathy from the fans. Y'all motherfuckers need to shut the hell up, okay? Shut up. Be quiet, send Roman Reigns your best wishes, and go look yourself in the mirror because you're a terrible human being. I'm the RKJ man, and I'm always shooting my shot for greatness.
Yeah, and to extend on that a little bit, a great rant, by the way. To extend on that a little bit, I mean, is Corey Graves faking his crying? That seemed the most legit thing I saw on that
Yeah.
whole show. Are all the is Dean Ambrose?
Renee
Well,
Young?
Dean Ambrose
Yeah,
might
or
have been,
Braun
but
Strowman,
is
hugging
Seth Rollins? Seth Rollins was breaking down on the stage.
Yeah.
Oh my
Now,
God.
Dean Ambrose
poor
wasn't,
man's-
but there might have been
yeah.
reasons that he could. They were like,
And
"Hey,
we'll talk
stick
about
to it."
that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But, Michael Cole even seemed visibly broken up, and
He was.
Well, he doesn't
visibly
want to.
broken.
Yeah, but Mike Cole's a professional. Mike Cole's been there in Iraq when bombs have gone off.
And let's not
So
also
it's
forget,
like-
this isn't the first time something like Jerry the King Lawler had a heart attack
Yeah,
in the
my
middle
God.
of a
Yeah,
live
that's another
Raw.
one.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Owen Hart died during an event, and
Yeah.
Jim Ross and Terry Lawler had to explain it to the crowd.
Yeah.
How,
They
how
had
do
to-
you do? How do you do that?
They
Yeah.
had to keep
They
going.
keep the
Yeah,
show going.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
And they kept the show going on Raw. I'm absolutely. And we're going to transition right now into the next segment because it makes sense. But I'm going to applaud the way Raw went on after this too. Now they did show the video a couple times, but that was the biggest moment in Raw I've seen in like years. To be honest, a guy saying he has cancer and relinquishing the top title in the company. This isn't some guy saying this isn't Finn Balor saying that I hurt my shoulder and I'm going. This is not, and that's no
No, this
disrespect
is
to Finn
a
Balor.
serious
No, this is-
Yeah,
illness
this
right
dude
here.
this dude might die.
Yeah, he
from
could
this.
he could pass away, man.
Yeah, this is the closest thing to a wrestler death that you can get.
And y'all
Yeah.
motherfuckers are out here saying that this is a work.
Exactly,
And
it's
I'm
so
hearing some
stupid.
people attack Roman Reigns on social media. Like,
man.
what is wrong
Come
with
on,
you?
man. Jeez.
What is wrong? And attacking, well, watch them try to capitalize this for work. Well, hey, genius. If people are struggling with leukemia who watch the WWE, see that Roman Reigns did it,
Yeah.
then that might give them inspiration that they can do it themselves.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
what are you doing thinking about this? Some people are just
These
You
are
dumb.
just-
got it. Some people think they know everything.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And another thing is that this is coming from people who have never, ever lived this.
Yeah, it's not. I haven't lived
Ever.
this.
I didn't live this
Yeah.
either. But thankfully, I'm pretty sure none of us we're not going to live any of this, right?
Well, I mean, you never know.
I've had to
but-
have, well, my mom has had cancer
okay,
twice.
so-
Yeah.
You
okay.
know, so
So he's actually the
but
one.
you would never
Exactly.
tell-
4 years ago,
Yeah.
it was really tough
Yeah, but
because
you
they
would
were
never-
they were still out of state
Yeah.
where I used to grow up at, and I was here, and so my brother went out there
Yeah.
to go take care of the
But
situation.
you and your family, you would never tell your mom that. Oh, is this a work?
Oh, mom faking
no.
this. Yeah, no way.
No. Hell no.
It can't be
Fuck
like
that,
that.
dude.
Like, my
Yeah.
mom doesn't have.
Yeah.
my mom wouldn't
I
do
know.
that.
Mom's a good worker, man.
Yeah, she's a great worker.
His mom worked the whole thing. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I
But-
mean, it's just like 4 years ago when that happened, I know how much of an impact that put on my whole family, and it put an impact on me because I couldn't go out there because at the time I was working 2 jobs,
gotta
I was
be
going
hard,
to school
man.
full time. That was really stressful, and that was really frustrating for me. I could only send support from a financial standpoint. And then when Thanksgiving came around, I went over there, but it was only for a day.
Think I
and then
remember-
and
Yeah.
then I came back in a day to go to work at my old job.
I think I remember you telling me about this RKJ Man. This is when we were doing the Thurston with the RKJ Man. It was around that time. I remember it was kind of
Maybe
hard.
before that.
It was somewhere around there. Somewhere in 2014, right? Or
2014, 2015, one of those.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But yeah, I remember it was really hard on you, man.
It was
Definitely.
tough, man. It was tough. But, I'm just blessed that they caught it in an early time.
Right.
And I hope the same thing with Roman Reigns. I hope they caught it in an early enough time that it's a situation where Roman Reigns will be able to overcome this,
Right.
get back to where he, was, and we could see some better booking. And I hope to see more of Joe and the character of Roman Reigns. That's all I got to say about it, man. We got some good stuff, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, that's
Raw was emotional.
Raw was emotional
One of
in
them,
bad
yeah.
and good ways, to be honest. And I, like I was just saying, I applaud the way they made that show kept going because the ending of Raw, if you didn't see it and you're
Jeez.
basing on us, is so you start the show, right?
Pause the ring generals right now.
Yeah, go watch Raw.
and go watch the last segment on YouTube. Then come back to the ring generals. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So,
This is
so
gotta be
here's
a
your
moment.
time. Go. Okay. If you're still listening, now we're gonna talk about Raw.
Okay.
So obviously the show starts out with Roman Reigns with a terrible announcement, right? Sad. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose come out on the stage. Seth Rollins is visibly crying. From what it looks like, Dean Ambrose can't even, just trying not to cry and stuff like this.
I thought he was
And
just
they're-
trying to be tough.
And they're all, he's trying to be
Yeah.
tough, and that's Dean Ambrose's gimmick.
It's
So
his
my,
man.
but so they do all
his
that.
nature.
The whole show, they're talking. You can see McIntyre and Ziggler in backstage thinking up stuff, Ambrose and Rollins are thinking up stuff in the back.
Yeah,
They
interview with Charlie Caruso. He's like,
Yeah.
"There's no words to say, just win." That's all Ambrose said. We're
Yeah,
just
it's
gonna
all
win.
it's all Ambrose said, right?
Win.
They get out to this match, and the match is great. A lot of good spots, right?
That's
Ambrose
right.
is helping out Seth Rollins as much as he can. They're trying to win these titles. They win the damn titles, and Dean Ambrose explodes and turns heel and just psychotically
shit.
beats up Seth
What?
Rollins. What is going on?
What is going on right now?
Why? What and why? Why, Dean? Why?
Yeah, Dean, that was hard to
All
watch.
on this night. Michael Cole. First of all, I could literally hear Vince McMahon turn down Michael Cole's mic. All of their
Dude, they all
mics.
shut up. Nobody's saying anything.
Yeah,
As
nobody said
soon as they only had one word. Corey didn't say anything.
Nobody said
Renee
anything.
said, "What? Wait a minute!" Like,
Yeah.
or something. And then Michael Cole said, "On this night," and then he just
it.
shut all their mics off.
Yeah.
all their mics went off, and like we just heard the crowd and Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
I think just if anything, just the crowd. It's just the sound of the crowd, and also just what Dean did. It just makes up for heel hate. It just does. All right, you just don't really need like the announcers to hype it up. It's the crowd.
Well, you know what also too is they needed to, you could hear visible or not visible audio things that Ambrose and Rollins were saying. They were very cryptic. And there was also a lot of cussing that was
Yeah.
going
It was
on.
a way- it was a
the
way to-
fans, dude, there was a lot of cussing from
Yeah.
the fans when he
They-
was walking up at the end.
It was a way to.
That was legit heel
Yeah,
heat.
that's heel
Oh,
heat
I
right
thought
there,
so.
man.
I legitimately
Thought
thought
somebody was gonna try to kick his ass.
and that he was gonna have to
Killing
get
on
this
live
giant
television.
brawl. This was gonna turn into this was gonna turn
Lakers
into
and the Rockets.
Khabib and Conor McGregor real quick.
Jeez, what's with all these brawls that are happening?
I love it. I love a good brawl, man.
Keep
You
it
know what I
coming.
mean?
Keep them coming.
We're going to be in a triple threat match one of these days. Look, man, all I can say is this, or a 6-man tag team match booked by Teddy Long player. But
With the Undertaker.
we'll get fucked
And Rajon
up.
Rondo.
But look, I think this situation is weird because when Seth Rollins, after he got Dirty Deed, said to Dean Ambrose, "It's okay, it's okay." Does
Yeah,
anybody
what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
I
Like-
cannot wait to see Raw. I cannot wait to see Raw next
like? I
week.
might want to see Raw over whatever Monday Night Football game is
Oh,
playing.
I'm
wow.
definitely
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I said this, I said if the WWE does not find a way to get me invested in the storylines during football season, during basketball season, that
You're
the
all in
Lakers
on
are getting,
football season.
I'm all in, bro. That was, so Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Now we were having a little bit of a debate in our group chat. I think this could be a WrestleMania storyline, guys. I honestly, legitimately think if y'all want to see
No.
Seth Rollins be the face of the company, y'all need to make sure that this thing is going up into a WrestleMania with Seth
Okay,
Rollins
see, now I
winning
get
that.
what you're saying. And see, I was doing a lot of stuff today, so I wasn't able to follow the group chat as much. What I was trying to tell you is that I believe we are going to now get to see potentially Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose match at Survivor Series,
Yes,
but I do
because
agree with
it
you.
sounds much.
This is also
obvious.
the better storyline than Daniel Bryan and The Miz, I
Yes.
think. And so I would rather see them capitalize on this. But dude, you're right. Oh my! I am not a fan of Dean Ambrose right now. I am not a fan of Dean
Yeah.
Ambrose.
Two SmackDown winners have won. Two SmackDown the Royal Rumble the past 2 years have come from SmackDown. So you got to give it to Raw one of these years. This is the year to give it to Raw. This is the year to give it to Seth Rollins. Have Dean use some type of trickery to find a way to beat Braun Strowman or whoever the title holder is at that time, and then you get our match at WrestleMania. The question is, how do we get to that match? Like how?
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to
Yeah.
watch. I mean, obviously
And is
we
it for
need
the
to.
title? Would it be for the title?
It has to be for the title.
It can be for the title. It should be because that adds that extra part of it to the rivalry. And that's what we were saying with The Miz and Daniel Bryan, too, is it adds. I just think, obviously, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose are both fantastic workers, and they could put on one hell of a 40-minute match, to be honest, if they wanted to.
Hell
But
in a Cell.
yeah, no, this if they could just. And I almost hope Dean Ambrose comes out and, well, first of all, explains why he did
He's
it.
not going to.
No, he's not going to.
Him he's a
being the
lunatic.
unstable guy that
Right, he
he
is
is,
a
he's not
lunatic.
going to.
And let's not forget.
He's going to toy with the fans.
Let's not
Just watch.
forget that this was the Dean Ambrose character that a lot of people were waiting for in the WWE. They were begging for this character because this was the character that got him such a huge following when he was John Moxley out on the Independents.
Yeah.
So
CZW.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
yeah. So
What his real name is John Moxley, isn't it?
No, it's something else.
Are you
let's
sure?
look this thing up.
think-
Yeah,
hold
John
on.
Moxley's just another name that he used for the
You can
independence.
hear me typing.
But I mean, I
I
think
can hear that.
Jonathan Good.
Okay, yeah. So
So-
John Moxley's. What if he turns into John Moxley? What if he goes, "Yeah, I'm not Dean Ambrose anymore. I'm John Mox. I'm not. That's not a big deal."
That has to be copyrighted by the WWE.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, he could do it, but it has to be copyrighted. And now he can't use another name if he leaves the WWE.
It kind of does remind me a little bit of when CM Punk, when he had like a lot of heel hate in the independents, and then people were waiting for that heel hate to happen in WWE. So I think the same thing is happening with Dean Ambrose, since he had this heel hate and also had this following from the independents, and then now on a bigger scale, now we get to see what he can do.
Well, yeah, and he also obviously he was going to turn soon, anyways. And they might have had him turn.
Yeah.
Maybe say it's Survivor Series, right? That might have been when he was going to turn. But they decided. Whoever decided, Roman, whoever decided this, said, you know what? I'm gonna get the most heel heat if I turn on this night.
And then now we know.
this night.
And then now when we go to Survivor Series, now we know who to boo.
Hell yeah, I'm
Yeah.
booing Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
so this is the question that I've been wondering, and I've told this to Nick, and I want to get your opinion. With Roman Reigns being out, if you had to list your top 5 main superstars on Raw right now, who could carry the Raw
on Raw.
brand?
On Raw.
On Raw. I'm not talking about in the company, bro. I don't know
On
about
Raw?
this. I'm not sure yet because we'll talk a little bit later. This Fox situation is getting interesting. Right now, okay, until Roman Reigns comes back, there's a visible void of the top star. Now, we could say it's Braun Strowman, but who is your other 4 superstars who will carry the Raw brand until Roman Reigns gets back?
Okay. You want to go first, Eric?
Yeah, I'll go first. Okay, like you said, Braun, Seth, in a heel way, because people will love Dean. People will love Dean even though he's getting all this heel hate. So, in a way, Dean might also carry this too. I want to say maybe McIntyre, because his time will come. His time will
I really
come.
like McIntyre, man.
Yeah, so his time will come when he will split up from Dolph Ziggler, which will probably happen maybe by the end of this year. Drew is a good candidate. And then the last one, I mean, I don't know. Are we going to see another superstar shakeup at the end of this year?
I think it's
But that's too long from now. That's at the end of WrestleMania.
yeah, that's the end of
okay.
WrestleMania. And
Okay.
it's up
We're
in the
building.
air.
You have to build to WrestleMania with these guys. I agree with you.
Yeah. I want to say Elias, maybe?
Well, no. Did you say,
Oh yes,
did
Elias.
you say Dean Ambrose though?
Yeah, I said Dean.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. That's my 5.
That's your
That's
Raw
my
5.
Yes, mine is the same thing, because I think your 2 heels are McIntyre and Ambrose, and those 2 guys are now both heels.
Now they're
Dean
getting
Ambrose is the
hate.
top heel on Raw.
You have Braun Strowman, and you have Seth, and Seth Rollins, absolute babyface. Dude, Braun
Yeah.
Strowman's still in the tweener, and it looks like Elias turned face.
Yeah.
Yeah, he turned
yeah.
face.
Because they can do so much with Elias.
I think Elias. Oh, you could also think Ziggler could also be another candidate for that 5th guy too.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, and especially if McIntyre turns on him and maybe Ziggler goes face, he could be that next face guy
Yeah.
too. Because I think that you need a tweener in there as well,
Yeah.
and Strowman's a tweener.
Yeah.
he's a heel for young kids and women, and he's
Yeah.
for the males. He's the
I mean, I don't want to throw in Brock.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
No, Brock's like saying Cena.
Yeah,
Cena's not
I can't
part of
throw
it
in
anymore.
Brock.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta have like guys who will carry this brand to the.
See, I like those
know.
5 guys though.
Yeah, I like him. You know.
Since they added Drew really is like a guy that will run train on this, and that's what he said. And they've been building for a Drew McIntyre title run.
If there's
potentially.
anything, if there's a reason why they're bringing this guy back, then I know that there's a lot of promise for this fool. All right.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
Elias is one of the more underrated guys that we're looking at in that thing. He has the potential, maybe eventually over time, to be bigger than all of them because he has that rock star persona to him and that vibe already that the crowd likes him.
Yeah.
And
Even
he
insults your hometown.
He can manipulate the crowd, kind of like how I dare say it, The Rock. The Rock can manipulate a crowd something fierce.
When
So
he was the Hollywood sellout.
I'm always looking at this. I've been watching a lot of Raw over the past week or so from the Attitude Era. I've been watching a lot of SmackDown 1999, SmackDown 2000, and all I could see was the times when I enjoyed SmackDown the most, honestly, Stone Cold wasn't there, y'all. Stone Cold wasn't there.
SmackDown you're talking about?
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
Stone
he
Cold
was,
wasn't there. The Rock was the superstar, the main face of the company, and he carried the WWE.
Well, that is his show.
And
that
he
is
was
his show.
yeah, but Raw and SmackDown, bro. He was the highest. It was the highest it's ever been. So who can be the Rock right now compared to Roman Reigns being the Stone Cold Steve Austin of this situation? Who could take the WWE on the heights?
Well, I'll say this. I don't think there on the Raw brand there isn't a Rock or Stone Cold.
No, there is.
I think there's just five. Really,
I'm
four
talking about
dudes.
Roman Reigns being the Stone
Well, yeah,
Cold.
Roman Reigns was the top guy.
He's the top guy
But
of the company.
I wouldn't call him a Stone Cold or Rock.
What I'm saying is this: the top superstar of the company.
Yes,
okay?
yes, top superstar, yes.
Because while The Rock and Stone Cold were 1A, 1B, Stone Cold was clearly a notch above The Rock.
Yeah,
In
that's
terms
true.
of that time. Now, The Rock was getting on his heels. Stone Cold even admits it. He talked to Vince about turning heel earlier because he was afraid of The Rock and how he was building in popularity. He was like, my pops are diminishing and The Rocks are getting louder and louder. But at the end of the day, Stone Cold was always the bigger star in the Attitude Era, honestly, than The Rock.
Well, he was. You know.
He was.
yeah, he
he
was.
started the Attitude Era. He saved the WWE. Who is
Yeah.
going to be that Rock of this generation now? Roman Reigns, the Stone Cold of this generation, is out with the illness that could take him out for at least a year.
Well,
who's going to be the Rock in this situation?
Is it okay?
Who's
now-
going to seize this
Okay, I'll tell you this.
brass ring, as Vince McMahon likes to say?
I don't know how old this dude is, but potentially is like a guy like Adam Cole, potentially maybe like the next dude.
Oh yeah, Adam Cole's 29.
You think he's the next? I think
30.
he could be the next like top guy, because the indies obviously love the indie people love him.
I disagree with you on that, by the way. But keep going.
Well, okay. It also could be a dude like Kenny Omega or someone like
I'm
that.
thinking
that comes in
Velveteen
too.
Dream.
Velvet. Okay.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
He
yeah.
could
Okay,
be
the other
Velveteen
guy.
Dream.
my bad. I totally
Yeah.
agree with the RKJ man.
And-
Velveteen Dream is the next guy.
By the
Velveteen-
way,
Bring him up.
bring his ass up now.
Now-
Okay.
okay, now you need- okay,
Hey,
now you need-
now you
now's the time.
And now
Right.
Now's the time.
you got to
Yeah,
bring him
Okay.
up now, bro.
Now's the time, and I know. You guys better not screw this guy up. Alistair
I know.
Black.
Well,
Alistair Black.
he's-
Do not fuck him up.
Hold on,
Well,
Eric.
okay, but
He's
how
got a
old is
Johnny
Alistair Black though? Too.
Is he like in his early 30s? Like 32?
Oh, let's do a little research.
Eric,
Yeah.
your boy Alistair Black is going to be in a feud with Johnny Gargano
Yeah,
now.
I did see that.
Because
Yeah.
Johnny Gargano
I have
just
not
turned
been
heel.
paying attention to any NXT recently.
Yeah, he
Well.
just ambushed Alistair Black.
So Black is 33. Not the
Same age as Roman
He could
Reigns.
come up. I actually think Black's thing is as a heel though too. So I don't think he could necessarily be the face because I think he's always been more of a heel persona.
Yeah.
And
So I don't know if he'd be the next guy. I think it's got to be a guy that you can see clearly being the top face and the top heel at the same time.
Velveteen Dream.
Yeah.
It's got to be Velveteen Dream.
And he's young.
He's young. He's
the
only
dude.
23.
He's the dude.
Yeah.
And he didn't
He's-
even win Tough Enough.
He's got the look.
got a lot of heart,
He's
dude.
got the look. He's got a persona that I think women will like, kids will like, and we've already seen it. This is the hardest audience I thought Velveteen Dream would reach. The grown men, the men who scream, who hate Roman Reigns, cheer Velveteen Dream.
Yeah.
A guy who, you know,
Well, they love his
character's sexuality is questioned.
Yeah, I know, but they love his character. It's kind of the same way with Goldust, how he started, because when people saw Goldust, they just thought he was just like this really weird, bizarre character. But people actually started dressing like Goldust, and they started embracing him. But with Velveteen Dream, I think what people love about him is that in his matches, he's got a lot of heart. If you ask me, if you notice, he's been losing a lot of the matches, but yet they cheer him a lot.
I said it. It's the Rock effect. The Rock had the same appeal throughout his run. He could lose some of the
with
biggest
Rocky
matches.
Maivia, when he was
The
yeah.
Rock. The
Yeah.
Rock. He could have some of the biggest matches possible. He lost so many matches. He got beat up so many times during the Attitude Era. And the more he got beat up, the more people cheered him. The more popular he
Yeah.
got just from him getting beat down or losing. So it was just like the heels would have a point. The heels like, you can't compare. You did all
Well-
this. And the crowd would still cheer him.
Well, what also helped The Rock was him being himself. That's what helped The Rock, if anything.
Yeah, I mean the Rock. You can see some of that. Well, he's Dwayne Johnson most of the time now, and you look on
Yeah.
social media. But
But
you do
that's-
see the Rock come back.
But
You
that's
see the
what-
Rock come
yeah.
back. He'll
Well-
hit his promos. He's still got that in him.
Let's
That's
not,
part of
yeah.
him.
Let's not forget there's a distinct difference between The Rock in 2000 and The Rock when he came back from his film in 2001. If If you guys haven't
Scorpion King.
noticed,
Yeah, Scorpion King.
his delivery in 2000 was very slow and very I had
true. It's a
time
good
to
point.
milk the
Yeah.
crowd. 2001, he was just like on it, just like he was going fast in his promos.
Well, when he was a heel,
Even
like
his
in
clothes
90,
got more loose.
Yeah.
He used to wear sweats all the time.
yeah,
well when he was a heel in '99 and 2000, no, actually '99, he actually knew how to work the crowd. Okay, like I wouldn't say like his promos were slow, but his promos onto the people were actually great. If anything,
it would allow the crowd to digest what he was saying.
You know, corporate rock. You know, when he was insulting the crowd, that was great. Okay, and then also in 2001, like you said, that was also great. And also when he came back as a Hollywood sellout, that was just fantastic because he knew how to work the crowd and he was insulting the hometown crowd. And also, I kind of, that's the thing that I want from The Rock. If he comes back, I want him to become like that Hollywood sellout again.
Well,
Dude, you know
be
what?
sure
You know
to
what?
come back when the Lakers beat the Kings
Yeah.
in May.
How about this? What if John Cena came back and that was the way he turned heel?
I would
right?
love for that.
That would be
Hollywood
great.
sellout.
By the way, I think John Cena's gonna come back, y'all.
Yeah.
I think at the
Well,
end
he
of
is
the
coming
day,
back. He's coming back at the Saudi Arabian event.
maybe
is.
he is.
Well,
Maybe
that's a
he's
good point.
not.
All right, so we do need to move on. No, I know. I wanted you guys. You guys seemed like you wanted to really discuss that. So, but we do need to move on, and I think we're gonna move on. We're gonna keep the wrestling going. I think it's time for Eric's indie
Ooh-wee.
update. We got some
Okay.
good stuff. I can't wait to hear
Eric,
this.
We
some
got-
shit went down this past weekend.
3 good things. So for the NWA 70th anniversary show, if you watched it, well, Cody lost the NWA championship to Nick Aldis.
Unbelievable.
And then Cody on Instagram, he did say something along the lines of he is going to begin a transition to a new role in pro wrestling. Don't know what that means, but we're just going to have to stay tuned for that. His next match, I think, is going to be at Global Wars and Ring of Honor next month, so stay tuned for that. Cody and the Young Bucks, Hangman Page and Marty Scurll were on board to be announced on this up-and-coming promotion started by Jim Ross and Y2J
So
Chris Jericho.
you don't know what the promotion is?
It's a yet-to-be-announced promotion.
So is it confirmed that they're doing that? Because
Yes,
I heard
they are confirmed. Yes.
Are you sure?
So
Because
bullet.
Chris
Yeah.
Jericho was trying to say how he was trying to deflect that, but we all know that Chris
Well, him and
Jericho likes
JR,
to
yeah.
troll people.
Him and JR, they're actually talking about that. So,
and
but
Barry Bloom too. Barry Bloom was
Yes,
influential.
that's another one too, yeah.
Eric Bischoff
That's
hates.
A-Train, right?
No,
Very.
no, dude.
Who is that?
Barry Bloom was actually an agent for WCW that now has heat, I believe,
Okay,
if
yeah,
I'm
you're
not
right.
mistaken,
No, that
it
makes
could be
sense, yeah.
that.
with Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, it could be that. Also, this weekend, if you booked your cabin, well, you are in luck because the Chris Jericho Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea is going to go all the way through the weekend, all the way through Halloween. It's going to go all the way from Miami to the Nassau, Bahamas. Catch it on Fight TV. Chris Jericho announced it. So the stars of Impact Wrestling are going to go up against Ring of Honor. Guests such as JR, Jerry the King Lawler, Diamond Dallas Page, Mick Foley, Noel Foley, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Rey Mysterio, Raven, Pat Patterson, James Ellsworth, Melissa Santos, and podcasts like The Art of Wrestling with Cole Cabana.
I'm gonna get on that damn boat.
Beyond Darkness
the
podcast,
ringtails on that boat.
Killing the Town podcast, Busted Open podcast, comedians, musicians such as Fozzy, Corey Taylor Slipknot, and so much more.
It ain't real good if you don't have the ring journals on it.
No,
though.
exactly. It's not. It's not. That boat is. That boat's not going to be over unless we're on that boat.
Yeah.
Definitely. So give us a reservation.
stupid.
Come on, Jericho.
Yeah, come on, Chris.
So, I know, right? And now, dream match of the day. We talked a lot about The Rock, Rocky Maivia, a lot.
Yes.
So there's been a lot of matches that I thought that why don't we do this? I know there's a guy who used to be in WCW and WWF, TNA, and he actually used to be tag team partners with Hulk Hogan. Used to be with the NWO, former Intercontinental Champion. Had a great match with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat back in WrestleMania 3. Great matches with Goldberg, Kevin Nash, so many others. I'm talking about the Macho Man Randy Savage.
So you're going Rock versus Macho Man?
As far as promo goes, if you ask me.
That's a good one. That's definitely a dream match for sure.
Because
too.
I know
Obviously it can't happen.
Before Randy's death, he said that he respected The Rock a lot. He actually saw him as a general in the back of the locker room. So he said that that's another guy you look up to along with Undertaker. And then now after that, I saw that. I just said, you know, what would it be like if The Rock did go up against Randy Savage?
Yeah, it would be very interesting. That's a good one. I like that one.
Fantastic.
What about you? You got one?
Nah.
Okay, I got one. We were just talking about John Cena being Mr. Hollywood.
Yeah.
How about you got John Cena, Mr. Hollywood versus Mr. Wrestling, Daniel Bryan, and you renew as somewhat of that rivalry, and you have Cena just talking all this shit to Daniel Bryan about how he's only always going to be a wrestler and all this stuff. And while, you know, it's just a thought. It's something I came up with right now, obviously, because I hadn't thought about the Cena thing until you guys started talking about The Rock. But, you know, you go John Cena versus Daniel Bryan, pure wrestler, all that stuff, versus a guy that is now turned heel and has gone completely Hollywood and does not care about the fans anymore and all this stuff, and doesn't care if you have heart, doesn't care if you believe in your dreams, which would be a hard stance for John Cena to take, but that's the way you turn heel, right? Reverse everything you've always said, right? It's not about hustle, loyalty, and respect anymore. It's about winning.
And then he'll probably use
winning that 17th championship.
Yeah.
That's what it could
Money,
be.
women, and fame.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, imagine that. Imagine if you had Cena. See, I don't want to extend on this too much, but like, imagine if you had Cena, his 17th, his run for the 17th title to beat Ric Flair is to be the 17th, like to turn heel and be like, all I care about is winning that title. I don't care about anything else, and that's how he turns heel.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. So there's a lot of ways you could do it, but I just thought if you have Cena turn heel in that way, you have him face a guy like Daniel Bryan that's just Mr. Wrestling.
It's a whole different side because I haven't seen, you know, Cena being heel since when he used to do those rap battles, when he used to be like the rap superstar back on SmackDown.
I mean, John Cena's got to be an asshole though if he's a heel.
Yeah.
There's no tweener BS.
No.
He's got to just be a
that guy
dick.
used to insult a lot of people when he used to do those rap battles.
His movie roles aren't even. He's not even a dick in his movie roles either.
No, not really. No.
You know, he
just plays a
maybe
funny
that's what we'll
dude.
take. Maybe that's what we'll take it, right? Maybe if Cena's in some movie that makes him look like a terrible dude, maybe he'll get. Maybe he can be like, dude, I can do this in WWE. I can do the same thing.
He can do that. He can do it.
He has enough merch. Come on, Cena, you can do
Vince,
it.
It's just Vince not being willing to pull the trigger. He was going to pull the trigger, and then he stopped at the last minute.
If Vince can pull the trigger on Dean Ambrose turning on Seth Rollins the night Roman Reigns,
Announces he has leukemia.
yeah, then he can make John Cena heel. Come on.
It makes sense.
Exactly.
It
All
will.
right. So let's get into Saudi Arabia and Crown Jewel because
Crown Jewel.
This
we
whole
got
thing is ridiculous.
Yeah, and
There's a lot of controversy on
the
this one.
RKJ man sent Eric and I something today that said that WWE is going to go on with the event. So we're going to act like the event's going to go on. Whether it gets canceled before our next podcast, that doesn't matter to the point.
That's their deal.
We're going to act like it's going to go on. So
The
we're
event's
gonna,
going on.
We're going to
Yeah.
discuss it. But before we discuss it, we are all going to give our opinions on what we think about WWE going to this event and what we think this event means and all this
And
stuff.
the superstars around it.
Exactly. So who wants to go first? Who wants to get their
Well, I
opinion
know
first?
the RKJ man wants to.
I'm just-
He
check
always
this out.
wants to give his
he
opinion.
always wants
You
to.
know, I always got
know.
something to say.
You've
Always
been
got
holding
something
this
to get
up
off
for
of
quite
my
a while now.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
check-
No, I'm
yeah.
just saying that, you know, we all knew that this was going to happen. You know, we knew that the WWE had gotten a crap ton of money from Saudi Arabia. And so when this thing went down, we were like, well, in the words of, I hate to borrow Demi Lovato, sorry, but not
man.
sorry.
Come on, man.
I thought you were gonna
Sorry,
say,
but
oh,
not
man.
sorry.
I thought you were gonna say like a song from Kanye West.
No, man. Nah, man. Like, you know, but in the words of Kanye West, WWE, how can you be so heartless, man?
Oh, hardly. Oh, that's.
I
a
mean,
song.
at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, money is king. Cash rules everything around me.
Money
Creams get the
talks.
money. Dollars out of the bills, y'all. That's
yeah. Wu-Tang Clan.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, we knew this was going to happen. There's absolutely positively no reason for us to just continue dwelling on this. Do I think it's BS? Absolutely. Of course I think it's BS. But it's business. And at the end of the day, as we see, just because it's business doesn't mean it's always the best thing ethically. You know, so at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, WWE made the decision. They got a crap ton of money from this. I'm just more disappointed in the superstars who spoke out and aren't going to back up their roles. John Cena and Daniel Bryan allegedly are refusing to go. Now, allegedly, now it's getting to the point where John Cena has totally said he's not going. But John Cena and Daniel Bryan were on the first ever event in Saudi Arabia. They were in that Greatest Royal Rumble. So they didn't have a problem taking Saudi Arabia's money back then. You know, when things when they knew about sketchy things going on in that time during that era too. So what's changed now? Okay, well, one journalist got killed, and I'm sorry about that. That's absolutely terrible to hear that. But really, you didn't have that stance, and you couldn't make a stance and a stand during that time? That's the reason why I got on Corey Graves, because I think he was being a hypocrite, going to Saudi Arabia, taking the money, taking the advance, and then after that, coming back, getting in the confines on his phone and social media, drinking a crappy IPA, and going off about the freedoms that you have. Okay, I can respect that, but where were you a few months ago when you could have said, hey, look, I'm not going to this event. I don't care how much money you guys are paying me for. I'm going to take a stand for what I believe in.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like that you're calling out those guys too, a guy like Cena too, because you know, Cena has a good image, and Daniel Bryan has a good image. We were just discussing that in a way. But you're right. Daniel Bryan's on a show about women on, a reality show. Total Bellas. Two shows, actually.
Total Divas
Total
and
Divas, Total Bellas.
Yeah. And
Same
he
thing.
also has a wife that's outspoken about women's issues and has a daughter. And
a sister-in-law.
Yeah.
And
So
Nikki Bella.
he was going to go to the event before James Khashoggi got murdered. Okay, and we don't know if the government actually did it. They're claiming they didn't do it, and
There's
even
something
our
fishy
U.S.
about that, man.
our U.S. government is really pressuring them to and it's just a lot of shit going on. We're not gonna get into all that,
Yeah,
but
we're not gonna get into
we
the
all know
politics.
this guy was killed, and there's a lot of evidence and there's a lot of rumors pointing to a sketchy Saudi Arabian government who's done shit like this in the past.
And let's not forget also that they don't like homosexuals.
Yeah.
They don't like women.
Well, it's
Okay,
not that they don't like women.
it's-
They don't give women the same respect
It's not
as they
the
do
same
men.
right.
They don't
rights,
give the
you
same
know.
rights as men. They've been outspoken against certain religions, if I'm not mistaken,
they're-
like
absolutely,
Christianity.
yeah,
like
no,
Christianity.
100%.
And Shawn Michaels is a Christian man, a born again Christian,
Come on, Shawn,
going to
jeez,
compete
man.
Come on, John.
as D Generation X. Speaking of which, did y'all see Shawn Michaels trying to run on Raw this past week as D Generation X?
I hope that's not a sign of what we're gonna see.
That
in the
man
ring.
was blown up just running to the ring. He was
man.
blown up just running to the ring. He was just like, you can see this body. He was like, man, I don't think I can do this shit like I used to anymore, but that
ain't
money's
like-
too
it ain't
good.
1996,
His hair couldn't do it like he used to be.
No.
Right?
He's bald. That motherfucker's bald.
It's like scary watching. Like Shawn Michaels looks a little like stiff. Like, and I'm just like, what the fuck, man?
But that's beside the point. It's just all these guys, and obviously Cena, being the good guy he is, for him to initially, he did the event before and
Yeah, he
thanked
did.
all the fans. Got on the
And then
mic.
now he's not going to do this.
Yeah.
He's not going to do
He
this.
got
now
the mic and thanked
allegedly
all the
he's not
fans.
going to do this. Now he's still announced in the World Cup tournament when Kurt Angle did his
Is it
speech.
really World Cup?
Yeah, but it's not
It's
really.
it's an 8-man. It's a WWE, or it's what I would call it is the WWE World Cup of guys that don't have a title. It's not the
much.
best.
Okay.
I mean, there is a lot of dope guys in this event. I mean, you
There
have
is.
Rollins and Ziggler
Yeah.
and,
Well, why
and
not
Randy
just bring
and
back
Randy
the
Orton.
King of the Ring term?
You know what it is,
Yeah.
man.
It's just
We all
a-
know what it is. It's a way to get top stars on the card so that the
people-
Saudi Arabian prince is happy.
Yeah.
Because
Pretty
he's
much.
giving them $40 to $50 million for this event.
A year.
Just-
I mean, not
yeah.
a year. A
A
event.
show, yeah, because I'm reading this thing on Forbes that says they had like $11.9 million
revenue.
one 3-month period, and then they all of a sudden had 60. And so in the months where after Greatest Royal Rumble happened, so it's somewhere in the range of that, minus cost of the wrestlers that they hire to go over. Because I've heard stuff like Chris Jericho got offered a shit ton to be at that event. Shawn Michaels must be getting
He
so
must
much
be
to
loaded.
About 8 million.
Yeah.
Oh,
8 to
he's
10.
probably getting Brock Lesnar money for this event.
Yeah.
And Undertaker, Triple H, they've all kind of had contracts and stuff. But so there's a lot of money, and money's money, right? And Sean probably is going to leave $8 million on the table, right? To be a little blasphemous and go over there. Right?
I mean, and it's hypocritical for me because I look at Shawn Michaels, a guy who is a Christian. I'm a Christian. I look at him and I'm like, bro, they doing all this stuff and they're firmly against our beliefs. You going over there for that money, man.
So-
and you know what the Bible says, man. What is it to gain the whole world and lose your whole soul, man? So the WWE is about to lose their soul just for a little bit of paper, man.
Selling your soul.
They're selling their soul, man. They just got a $2 billion deal from Fox.
So let's look at it this way, because I know you're Christian, RKJ man. If you were working for the company and then let's just say that they offered you a shit ton of money just to go to Saudi Arabia, would you still go?
No. Because sometimes you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and be able to live with yourself.
Even if they offered you like a lot of money, or
but
they pressured you.
if I was working for the WWE, I would assume that I would already be making enough money financially, and I never want to be to the point where I have to completely, totally sell my soul for money. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're in that point in your life, you've made a lot of mistakes and you fucked up in life.
Yeah.
Because if your life is to the point where you're just banking on WWE to come to you and say, hey, Saudi Arabia really wants you, we're going to put $6 million on the table, take it or leave it. And you gotta be like, okay, whatever, knowing the fact that Saudi Arabia was sketchy. And we know that Saudi Arabia was sketchy in years before. Now, they have been trying to make efforts. And actually, there was a picture of The Rock, actually, with the Saudi Arabian prince. And the CNN reporter,
yeah, they called The
reporter
Rock out. I was looking at something on Twitter. They called The Rock. And there's a lot. It's The Rock, Oprah, all these people that you would think have good standing with most people. They met with this dude because, you know, all the Saudi Arabian prince ain't no Hitler, and he's not Stalin, and he's not this terrible fucking dude.
Well, he's not like the Japanese
but he's
emperors
also
who closed off the world to every themselves off from the world.
Exactly, but he's also not. I would not say like a good guy.
He's not. Yeah,
right. He inherited this because his family. He wasn't voted by the people. Right. Yeah, he wasn't voted by the people of Saudi Arabia. He inherited this because he was born out of some woman's vagina, and that, I guess, made him the prince of Saudi Arabia. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but I'm not going to get into talking shit on the Saudi Arabian culture because you never know who's listening, right?
Right.
But ultimately, if you're from Saudi Arabia, you probably think the same shit, and that's why you cheered Carmella at that event last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So sorry to hit a promo on Saudi Arabia here, but like, come on. So I mean,
that was great.
They shouldn't be doing the event. There's a lot of selfish reasons why I don't think they should be doing the event. Number one, we're going to Survivor Series, and I'd much rather see all of these matches at Survivor Series.
And that pissed me off, man.
Yeah.
So because now we're just gonna get the bad.
No, they're just desperate.
I'm hoping Daniel Bryan doesn't go. I'm hoping John Cena does.
Right.
If Daniel Bryan doesn't go, that means we're having that WWE Championship match at our pay-per-view.
Look, that match between AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, they are desperate to put him in the freaking Crown Jewel pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm looking at
that should have been Survivor Series pay-per-view.
Yeah, there's only 5 booked angles at this whole thing anyway.
Also, that's because they expect the World Cup to go along.
Well,
also, let's not forget that 5 days before this is WWE Evolution, an all-women's pay-per-view, y'all. An all-women's pay-per-view where the WWE is stressing equality. The women could do just as much as men.
Right.
Stephanie McMahon is coming out and having the audacity to say she wants the equal amount of men and women on the roster.
No.
Come on.
This is what's going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Women's wrestlers
Look, WWE is just going to say, all right, let's just get on with this Evolution pay-per-view. Come on. Let's just do
and
this.
we can see it in the way y'all booking it, man.
Yeah, they're just like this, like rushing it. Come on.
Why do you have your biggest angle going into the first women's pay-per-view ever, a guy DDTing his friend on the floor?
Yeah,
right.
The main event.
I know you had
the event segment.
Yeah. So that's
WWE
what I'm
Evolution.
saying. It should have been something to do with Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey, probably. Right. That should have been the main event of the show. If you're building into a damn pay-per-view with all women, there's no men. The only man that's going to be there is Michael Cole. Right, and by the way, Beth Phoenix is the other announcer.
Oh, really?
You were talking about this the other day.
Renee Young, Michael Cole, and Beth.
So yes, guys, we all got our wish. Stephanie McMahon is not on the announcer.
Thank Jesus.
Thank you.
She's not on the commentary team. But okay, so we're going to talk about both those pay-per-views. I'm going to do my segment real quick. It'll be real quick.
All right.
And then we'll transition and we'll end the show. We'll predict Evolution, and we'll also predict Saudi Arabia's card because we won't be able to talk about
UFC.
What's up?
UFC?
No, the Saudi Arabian card.
Oh, okay.
We'll predict Crown Jewel because we're going to talk about both these pay-per-views on our next podcast.
Oh, okay.
So this is Nick's random segment of the day, and you don't get more random than this, guys. Are you guys tattoo guys? Would you ever get tattoos?
No.
Well, there was a plan that I was going to do that, but then I don't know.
But you would think about a tattoo. Like, tattoos aren't out of the question for you.
If it's meaningful, yes, but if it's something worthless, then no.
Okay, perfect answer. You absolutely no?
Nah.
Yeah, I'm about 95% no. I maybe I would do it in honor of someone. Maybe if
LA
someone
Dodgers.
really
Just kidding.
Dodgers 2000. Yeah, they are. But don't say it. Don't say it.
Cardinals right here.
Yeah, Arizona Cardinals 1-6.
Nick,
The chosen one.
Yeah.
Mr. 1-6.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe hypocritical Nick. But yeah, so I'm not saying it's totally out of the question, but it's pretty much out of the question. But off of yours, stupid tattoos. Here's an even better question. If you per se, had a famous girlfriend that was a little more popular than you,
Oh, shit.
would you get a tattoo of maybe her logo on your body at all? Would you get that?
Oh no.
What about you, Eric?
Hell to the fucking no.
Yeah.
Who did this?
Yeah. So this is our boy from SNL, Pete Davidson, who ended his engagement with
Oh,
Ariana
Jesus.
Grande
Yeah.
and has multiple tattoos about Ariana Grande that he got on his body
Good Lord.
about a
What
couple weeks
the
ago.
hell is
So come on, Pete.
So I guess he's
Pete.
always
Yeah.
gonna be associated
Pete.
with. That's him literally trying. We talked about this months ago about men leeching
I don't know
off
if he,
some
I
of
don't
their
know if he was
famous women.
high or not when he got all these tattoos, but still, man. I could maybe I'd pull up a picture for you guys to see. Well, you
Yeah.
won't be able to see Eric, but
Okay.
like
We talked about this months ago about.
Wait, Arkajima, you would not get like a Panthers tattoo?
No, I wouldn't get no Panthers tattoo because one of these years they're gonna be like Knicks Cardinals.
yeah, exactly. You'd be like a Panthers tattoo.
Mr. 1-6.
Yeah, so it's I remember when I was looking up this stuff. By the way, I predicted it. I said there's no way this lasts more than like a couple months, and it was actually shorter than it happened. But I don't like to talk about the tabloids and TMZ and all that stuff. But I thought this was pretty stupid that this
Wait a
dude
minute.
that this dude got a tattoo of his fiance.
By the way, Ariana Grande keeps going from dude to dude to dude. Good God,
like-
Ariana.
But Pete, you ever heard of a here's what Pete Davidson was. Pete Davidson was he was like a what I would call a makeup boyfriend.
It's called a rebound relationship.
For Mac Miller dying. I mean, Mac Miller was obviously going out with her for a long time, and the dude died a couple months ago, and then all of a sudden she gets married to Pete Davidson.
Well,
out
it
of
was
nowhere.
before Mac Miller
It's
died. They got engaged. Mac Miller was still alive. She had just broken up with Mac Miller. They get together. They get engaged. And then all of a sudden, Miller dies. Now
Well, I'm
people
pretty sure
start-
Pete said she's not necessarily right in the head either after that. So,
Oh, yeah,
even more of a
definitely.
reason not to get her tattoo
Yes.
on
What
your
hell's
body.
wrong with you, man?
Come on, man. Pete, you're skinny too. Your body's gonna look like shit.
All right,
Well-
here we go. Pete Davidson is truly a beta male bitch. He's truly.
Why do you think I brought up this topic? It was I
man.
wanted one
boy.
quote to come out of this, and that's what it gets. So,
I guess he is up there. Okay, Pete Davidson is now taking over for Corey Graves.
Oh, that's
Well,
pretty
okay,
bad.
so he's wow.
No, he is. Maybe it's just come on, Pete. Like, come on. I get it. You want to, maybe it ups your status, and it probably did. He's a lot more famous than he was before he dated
now
Ariana.
he-
I didn't
Now
know
he's getting a lot
who this Pete Davidson was.
until he was
Yeah.
seeing Ariana,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
not even
that's why.
seeing. God, it was gonna
Married-
get
or
married,
married, yeah,
too.
married,
It's
yeah.
the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But so I wanted to bring that up, and now we'll talk about the all women's pay per view. No, I'm kidding. So we're gonna move on. Any last words about Pete Davidson before we move on?
Beta male bitch.
Any last words, Eric?
I feel sorry for you, man.
That sums it up perfectly.
Come on, Pete. Okay, now we're gonna predict the pay per views to end off this podcast. We'll start with. We'll start with Crown Jewel since Evolution is coming up. We'll predict Crown Jewel first, or what do you
No,
guys want
let's
to do?
predict. Yeah, let's predict Crown Jewel.
I
First.
think
Yeah.
they have less to say about this necessarily.
About Crown Jewel.
Yeah, so we'll talk about this real quick. So 5 segments on this card. You have the WWE World Cup, which should be that should be 7 matches, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a tournament.
Yeah, so it's 7 matches. Most of those probably will end pretty quickly because they can't go on for 6 hours.
Right.
Well, you never know.
People are gonna get
They are
tired.
getting $50 million.
people are gonna
to
get-
do this
They've
event.
had a 6-hour one.
People
at
are
the
gonna
end
get
of
tired,
the
man. I'm sorry. People are gonna get
so,
tired.
and then
No,
you,
not what they take prayer breaks.
exactly. So
Yeah.
you have that. You have a tag team match.
Take prayer breaks, man.
you-
That's
you-
their religion.
I know.
You have a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match where the Big Show has been added into this feud now. You
Why am I
have.
seeing Big Show on my TV?
You have. He's probably getting paid a lot. That's probably
5-foot
why.
giant, man.
But
Saudi
they probably.
Arabia?
Why do you think they asked for him, bro?
Yeah.
Why do you think he's there?
They're desperate, dude.
Oh, let me guess.
They're
The press
desperate. I'm
X for
sorry.
Andre the Giant.
If I ask it, they're like, okay, we got Andre the Giant's gonna be there. He might look a little different.
well,
People are so stupid.
man.
man.
Big Show
Come on.
used to be. They built him up as Andre the Giant's like son or something like that.
Something like that.
At the beginning in WCW.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's what my
we have
dad
Big
used to
Show
say.
added probably for those reasons. You have AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. Now Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman for the vacant Universal title. And then, of course, DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. Guys, let's start with this tag team match because this is, at least in my opinion, the worst match on the card. What do we think happens? Who do we think wins?
What tag team match? There's multiple.
Bar.
Okay.
I'm not talking about
There's
DX
there's
first.
two. There's two of them. So you have to
You
be
don't start
specific.
with the DX match on the card.
It might be the worst match, bro. You know, they
It will
got to
be the worst
combine
match, but it won't
AIDS
be
of
the-
200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
go
so
an hour.
I think the Bar is going to retain against the New Day.
I agree. I think Wyatt, you're not going to give him the titles to have him stripped or have him taken away like 2 weeks later. I don't think that's going to happen.
to go with the
Big
Bar.
E can't be gyrating all over in Saudi Arabia. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's inappropriate too. Pretty sure they'll try to kill him for that too.
Sorry, Biggie.
Joke.
Sorry, Biggie.
Yeah. Eric, your prediction?
The bar. I'm going to go with the bar. Oh, you're gonna progress with me? What the
I'm
fuck,
not
dude?
gonna forget. No. Okay,
I'm gonna go with the bar.
So
The
we're gonna
bar.
go with the bar.
Yeah.
All right. So WWE World Cup. Who do we think wins this?
Broke up my ass.
So we got, real quick, we got John Cena, Kurt Angle, Seth Rollins, and Ziggler from Raw.
Look at all the culture right there,
And
man.
then we got Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, The Miz, and Rey Mysterio on the SmackDown. So out of those 8 guys, who do you think ultimately wins the whole thing?
I'm going to go with the surprise pick just because we're probably going to see most likely him go up against Baron Corbin's team in Survivor Series. I'm going to go with Kurt Angle winning this thing in a surprise.
So Mr. USA wins the Saudi Arabian.
I think he does.
Okay, that's
Mr.
fine.
USA. I'm going to go with another Mr. USA, John Cena.
If he wrestles, if he goes to the show.
Well, yeah.
I think
Unless they threaten him.
this is tough for me. I don't. This is hard. I'm gonna go with Dolph Ziggler. I think Ziggler is that.
Fluky faction?
I think
That's
they're
really random.
I think they're building with this, and I think it's Ziggler and Rollins, and I think possibly we have Ambrose come out and ruin this match for Rollins, who is gonna win, and then Ziggler wins it, and they keep
Makes
that
sense.
going.
I think that makes sense.
That's just because you guys picked Cena and Angle. I wanted to pick someone else because I really don't want it to be that see-through to have Cena win the whole thing. That'd be terrible. I kind of want Randy to win because he's a heel, but you know. We'll see
Now
what
I need
happens.
to see heel Randy flip the whole crowd off. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. Well, Randy didn't.
Yeah.
I was reading something about this.
Watch,
Randy
you'll get
doesn't
killed
want.
after.
Randy doesn't necessarily want to be at this event either. So
No, he doesn't.
I think that might be a reason. why
Hey,
he
y'all
doesn't.
got no problems taking that money though.
Well, Randy's not the fucking best dude in the world, anyways. But it's like.
Y'all get offered
He's-
10 million.
He's,
I'm like,
he's
huh?
a draw, and
Yeah.
they need him for the event. So
But Randy's got a lot of kids now, and he
Yeah.
can't necessarily be so blasphemous and go out to this.
Hey
event
man,
either,
what
but-
does it take?
He probably said, "I'll work it, but you know, have someone switching music the hell out of me to
after
start
that,
the show."
yeah.
You
After
know.
that, I'm booking it. I'm piecing out.
All right,
yeah.
so
Oh,
we
man,
have
gain the whole world and lose your soul, bro.
yeah. So if it happens, AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. What do we think happens in this match?
I think there's gonna be some foolery with this match, and I do think AJ Styles is gonna find a way to retain the championship. Daniel Bryan's losing his luster, man. Hey, I'm starting to fall off of the Daniel Bryan train
Wow.
quick, man.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was gonna happen. I thought this thing was gonna last all the way up to the Royal Rumble, but from him and those comments he made recently with the whole Brie Bella botch and just the way he's acting, some of the stuff he's doing, I'm just not feeling it anymore. It's like you're back.
Somebody's sucking the soul out of him, man.
I thought you were gonna say something else, and I was be like, "Geez, man,
Well, maybe that too.
talking shit on Saudi Arabia, sucking, you know, whatever." But we'll get to sucking in a second. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
But so, RKJ, man, what do you think? Oh,
AJ
you said
Styles.
okay, AJ Styles.
I'm going to go with AJ. They're going to keep the bell on
I
him.
think you got to keep it with AJ. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think this is the end all be all match. I'm hoping that happens in Survivor Series,
Yes.
please. But
Keep it going.
Yeah. So I think there will be some foolery too. They had a tendency to not have major title changes at the last event too, the Greatest Royal Rumble. So I don't think they'll do it here either. I think they know their audience. This Sydney one made more sense.
Yeah.
This Saudi Arabian thing seems to be more about money.
Yeah, it's
The
about
Australia
money.
thing was more about that fandom not ever getting any events
This
there.
is all money.
Yeah, so I don't think they're going to be making major title decisions. All right, so speaking of major titles, Universal Championship, the vacant championship, Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman. I think this is going to be. I don't think there's going to be a title holder. I think they beat each other and they incapacitate each other, and I think it turns into something like maybe a
You want a tournament and
a
Survivor
battle
Series?
royal, yeah, well, something like that. But I don't
Somebody
think
mentioned
I don't
that too,
think this
JD from New
event.
York.
I don't think this is where this title becomes unvacant. I think they just said we need to put on a match, and we can't do something crazy. So we're just gonna. I have a feeling this is again. People want to see Brock Lesnar. They probably say we want to see Brock Lesnar fight for the title, but that doesn't necessarily mean he has to win it or lose it. So I think to keep both these
Okay,
guys
makes sense.
over, I don't think anything happens here. I don't. Yeah.
I think Braun Strowman's gonna win this
Mm-hmm.
just because Brock Lesnar is clearly. I mean, yeah, if there's anybody who's benefiting from this Roman Reigns situation too, it's probably Brock Lesnar because he figures to be in the plans now for at least another year because you got to have some type of superstar appeal too for these top guys who are coming up to face up against. So I think I would love to see a McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar match. That would be a great match.
Yeah, McIntyre. would
And
be
I'm
able
still
to-
waiting for that Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar
Yeah.
matchup to happen. And I think it could even be better now. You got Leo Rush involved.
Yeah,
with Paul
well,
Heyman.
Bobby Lashley's a heel, and well, that's what he should be.
Still,
So,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter. It's a great matchup. I think the crowd would cheer Brock Lesnar. Anyway, getting back to the point, I think Brock Lesnar is going to be there for the foreseeable future, doing UFC and WWE. But for now, I think you give the title to Braun Strowman, see how it works. If you don't like how it's going, then in a couple of months at the Royal Rumble, you change it, and we begin our plans to WrestleMania. I don't know what the plans are. I'm hoping that it's Seth Rollins
Screwed
versus
up
Dean
now, for
Ambrose.
sure.
Yeah.
It's screwed up, man. This is the definition of screwed up. These types of situations makes me see how good the creative team is.
Yeah, well, it's a lot like they didn't do a good job with Roman Reigns and Triple H. That was supposed to be Seth Rollins and Triple H at WrestleMania 32. They screwed that
Obviously
one up
didn't
after
happen.
Rollins tore up his ACL and tore up his knee. So hopefully they can, unfortunately, capitalize on Roman Reigns' absence.
Okay.
Okay, so Eric, what do you think's gonna
I'm
happen?
gonna have to go with Brock because I think that WWE's want to play safe with keeping the title
That's
on
actually fair.
somebody
Yeah, that's
like Brock. Braun Strowman, his time. I don't think his time is there yet.
Really?
Maybe his time is WrestleMania.
Maybe
Yeah.
for WrestleMania.
I like
how
his
long,
point.
how long do you wait to pull the trigger on
Well,
this thing?
this
Here's-
isn't coming from me. This is more coming from the company, from WWE. Because if anything,
he's seeing. I
these
like the way he's
these
thinking.
guys, they don't really see much promise with Braun Strowman just yet. They rather just keep it on some guy who actually has carried the brand at Raw, or the guy who actually carried the belt longer than other wrestlers like Punk. And so I think they're going to put on Brock.
I like that. We all had different opinions about
So
what's going to happen
here's
here.
the one thing though. The last title reign with Brock Lesnar didn't go over so well with the fans. So how do you expect the fans this time around to accept the
WWE
Brock
doesn't care,
Lesnar
dude.
situation?
They're gonna keep the belt on him.
I just don't think it makes
I
sense.
would
think
I would like the belt to be on somebody else, but of course, WWE being WWE, they're gonna keep the belt on somebody safe.
Fair.
And we're going to talk about old stars in a second with DX versus Brothers in Destruction. But how long do you rely on these old stars to get you through a pickle, through a rough situation before they all go off? They can't wrestle anymore. They die.
I mean,
Something
the Undertaker
happens.
has about a year left.
I mean, how much more longer do I have to see the Undertaker and his knees in that ring trying to keep up? You got to put the title on one of these dudes sooner rather than later and try to elevate them to the point. They tried that with Roman Reigns, but the problem was they were doing it so much and they were pushing it down their throats, and they were just focused on Roman Reigns. They weren't focused on letting the roster breathe and each one of them developing their characters.
would've loved to see
this
that,
is the time,
but,
bro.
yeah.
You put Braun Strowman as the championship winner right now, and you see how it goes, and then you give it to somebody else who you think could have it.
Here's what I'm
Play hot potato.
I agree with you. I just say you don't do it and you don't make Brock look bad. So I'm just saying he wins it eventually, but he doesn't win it at this pay-per-view.
Yeah, like not yet.
I just think something's going to happen. They're going to beat the hell out of each other. They're going to get incapacitate each other, and there's going to be no title winner. And I know I kind of said that for the SmackDown match, but still, I don't think they make a major decision like crowning a new Universal Champion in Saudi Arabia. It's not happening.
They're going to do it because they have no other choice.
No, they don't have to. Yes, they do. They don't have to. They can give the
have
title
no
to.
other choice.
They give the title to.
They have no other choice, bro. And it's the Universal
John Cena.
Championship,
No, I'm
which,
kidding.
by the way,
Yeah, right.
I don't know if somebody wants to have that thing because Finn Balor, gets it started, and Roman Reigns
Oh,
as the
God,
kid.
man.
Yeah.
I don't really think. I don't think I want that.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar became an unattraction with the title. Finn Balor got hurt. Roman Reigns, his cancer came in remission. We're joking. All right, we're joking. And so I don't know. Really, no one that's held this title has had like a super successful.
Kevin
run.
Owens.
Yes.
Kevin Owens.
Kevin
That was
Owens.
short as hell.
Okay.
Speaking of
Goldberg?
which, I'm gonna need him to come back.
So, Kevin Owens, by the way, could be a top 5 guy on the Raw brand.
Yeah, but he has to come back
Yeah.
healthy and ready to go.
True.
And I honestly think Kevin Owens could do with losing a little few pounds. I'm sorry.
Calling him fat.
I'm
man?
not calling him fat.
Dude,
I'm
he's
just
in-
saying.
You called him fat.
I'm just saying from a looks perspective, I think it's time for him to lose a couple of pounds.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm sorry.
He's-
And that might get me heat
So
with
he's-
Kevin
he's
Owens.
done- Yeah.
Look,
But-
he's done some good stuff. He does not have to look, like other guys.
I'm not saying he needs to lose like an insane amount of weight.
Right.
I'm just saying
I've
lose
never had
You
a
50.
know,
problem.
he had done good on this podcast.
I've
before
never
that
had
comment.
I never had problem with his weight.
We had made for the women. We were nice
Yeah.
to Roman Reigns.
I'm not saying
you
it-
call the guy deservedly a beta male bitch, and then you call Kevin Owens fat. You
I'm
had
not
to go
saying
that.
he's fat. I'm just saying he needs to get
He's
a
fat.
little bit in better
No,
shape.
he's fat, but there's not. I mean, it's
he
we're
needs
all
to get
joking
in.
here.
He needs to get in better
All
shape.
right, we need to move on. DX versus the Brothers
good
of
for his career.
Destruction. Eric, what happens?
Yeah, end of an era. My ass. Well, if anything, I'm going to go with DX on this one because I think this might be a build-up match to have Shawn Michaels to come back
And face The Undertaker.
face the Undertaker.
At Survivor Series,
Maybe,
Please.
maybe.
you gotta give us something good.
Okay,
WWE.
I disagree with you, Eric. I think the Brothers of Destruction are winning because Undertaker lost at the last pay-per-view
So
at
we're gonna
Super
go-
Showdown.
we're
And
gonna
I
go
think they'll try to even it out.
So we're gonna flip flop and we're gonna have.
Yeah, but what would be the point of
Crow.
continuing a rivalry if one guy beat one guy and then the tag teams beat the same
All right.
dudes?
And
Like
then-
that would
okay.
you gotta have some
Okay,
turnover, right?
and then have.
This is not ending here.
Yeah. Okay. So this rivalry is not gonna end. We're gonna go all the way to WrestleMania, right? With this whole thing.
I hope we don't go all the way to
No,
WrestleMania.
I think they go.
These guys' knees might not make it to WrestleMania.
I actually think they only go to like Survivor Series potentially,
Or
and that's the
not
end
Royal
of it.
Rumble either.
And then the
No,
Undertaker has
because
got to
these
get
guys might be in the. I mean, Shawn Michaels might be in the Royal Rumble at this point, but I think at that point it ends, and I think.
Well, I hope so.
You might have Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker at WrestleMania potentially. That's what you could do again, and then I don't know. It's Shawn Michaels' big real return because I feel like even if he's wrestling here, it's not like a.
It's not a.
It's not a
full
total
set.
return. I'm kind of pissed that this is even happening because this is kind of a. It just seems that's a random way to have him come
I know.
back, right?
I know. It's.
Hey, maybe he never gets in the match, right? Maybe that's what happens.
You mean
maybe
like-
they debilitate him or whatever, and like Kane beats him up, and they go into the crowd, and then Undertaker tombstone
Saudi-
Triple H, and the match is over, and
Sa-
Shawn Michaels
the
never
the
gets
Saudis
in.
might
Do
be
you never
so
get the
pi-
hot tag?
The Saudis are gonna be so
Well, who
pissed.
cares? They're getting, yeah, who cares? Vince does, and the investors do. But yeah. So okay, what's your take on it? I think the Brothers of Destruction are winning, even up the rivalry.
I honestly don't care about this match.
I don't even care either. I'm
because
just giving out.
I mean, all I care about
random
hearing
answer.
is
Give a prediction.
all I care about is hearing is the DX theme song, which is one of the top 5 theme songs of all time. It's just a cool
love
theme.
that.
I
I
love
love-
it.
I've always loved it.
I listen to it all the
They
time.
got the women in it too, like
Yeah,
the,
Yeah.
the,
the
in
hot
the
chick,
video.
like-
Yeah, the
like
hot
this.
chicks.
That's an old
That's
video,
it.
dude.
It's old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also I care about Shawn Michaels. Although I don't know how much like inappropriate things are gonna do in Saudi Arabia. Anyway, I think DX is gonna win. I think you can't have Shawn Michaels come back for his first match up back and lose and take the fall because it can't be Triple H who takes the fall. It's got to be Shawn Michaels because it makes logical sense. If the Brothers of Destruction win, then you got to have the guy who hasn't wrestled in 6 years, 6 some odd years, take the fall because he's the least experienced or he's been wrestling the least in the past decade. So have Shawn Michaels take the fall in this, or excuse me, have DX win because it's Shawn Michaels coming back, and then Undertaker says that's BS. I want you, Shawn Michaels, and they face off at Survivor Series, and then they go their separate ways, and then then the Undertaker gets ready for WrestleMania because we know they need him one more time because Roman Reigns ain't gonna be there,
Okay.
and The Rock probably ain't showing up either.
Nah, the Rock ain't.
Rock,
showing up.
don't rely on the Rock. Couldn't even show up to SmackDown. 1000.
Of course not.
But Batista showed up.
Yeah, Batista did show up.
did. Evolution showed up.
Keep that thing in your
I don't know
pants.
if we'll be able to talk about that necessarily on the podcast, but that was pretty entertaining.
That was great.
All right, so
Keep that thing in your
Crown
pants.
Jewel should be interesting. We'll see who shows up, who doesn't. I'm kind of disappointed as a fan going to Survivor Series that this event is happening, but nonetheless, it was going to happen anyway. So to be mad about it is. You should be. I'm more mad. I'm more mad that they're doing the event in the light of this guy's death than I am of Survivor Series in reality.
There's more importance to this Crown Jewel pay-per-view. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, there is.
That's how they want to do it.
Exactly. All right, so moving on to WWE Evolution. There are a couple matches here I kind of want to just skip by because I don't think we have too much to talk about on this.
by
And
the
then
way,
we'll kind of get into the main crop.
The promotion sucks ass for this pay-per-view.
Well, we'll get into that in a second. But so we have there's 7 matches on this card, including a battle royal. But I just want to go through these couple first. You have the Mae Young Classic tournament. I haven't watched this, so I don't care at all who wins this.
I watched a little bit of it.
Do you know any? Do you know?
Toni Storm is really good.
So you think Toni Storm wins?
Great look. Look her up right now.
Okay,
She's got a great.
We don't have a lot of time.
Super
on
great
podcast,
lead,
but
super great look, and then Lo Shirai. I mean, the WWE has been interested in her for a while. She's one of the top. I heard she's even better than Asuka. You know, so I'm interested to see how this match is going to be. You know, I'm looking forward to this matchup. I do think, however, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
So do you know anything about this? I haven't followed this at all.
I haven't followed it at all either.
Yeah.
I watched some of the
This
stuff.
is just a way. They don't have enough women wrestlers that actually are over to have a match. That's it. It's like a glorified NXT card. That's what this seems to me, as far as the women go. So I don't know. Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler. What do we think happens here, real quick?
I'm rooting for
Baszler. I'm going for Baszler.
Sane.
I think Sane's
retains.
going to win because I think they're going to have something to do. Maybe Baszler possibly at Survivor Series with this whole Ronda Rousey as a team, something like that. So I kind of want I want Baszler to eventually get called up because I think her and Ronda could do something. So
Lord.
I do think Sane's the champion and it gives Sane a new opponent and Baszler a reason not to have a rematch either. So I think they'll take it off her. Eric?
Yeah, I said Baszler.
Oh, you said Baszler?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go through that real quick. Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya versus the Riot Squad.
I don't care about this match.
Man, you stole my thunder.
I don't care.
I was gonna say that.
Like, why did you look at me then? If you knew I was thinking,
because I thought you'd say I wanted to be the funny one on that one.
I just don't care about this
And
match.
after this podcast,
Okay.
they're gonna think that you're sexist or something like that.
Sexist, fatphobe. No.
Body shaming people.
Well, yeah. But okay, so I literally do not care. I'm gonna go Banks.
I'm not
I'm gonna go
interested in it,
Banks,
to be
Bailey,
honest.
and Natalya because they're more of the evolution people. I think they win.
Yeah.
I just think.
I think honestly, at the end of the
It should
day,
be on the fucking pre-show card. That's what it should be on.
this shouldn't even be on the card. But I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna have this freaking match the next night on Raw.
They will.
I think they're gonna have. I guarantee you, they're gonna have this match the next night on Raw.
Okay, so
Scam right there,
who
man.
cares, man?
Yeah.
All right, and then the women's battle royal. This is obviously more of who do we think they're going to, because this is essentially a Royal Rumble match.
No, it's a battle royal. But
no,
whoever wins,
no. But what I'm saying is the winner gets a title shot.
The winner
and there's
gets a
only
title.
one title. Well, there's a couple. I mean,
Well,
I
that-
guess someone from. Well, there's no NXT people in this, so.
All right.
It's gonna be either Raw or SmackDown. So who do we think they put over? Who do you think they want to be one of their next title
Well,
holders?
who's in it?
Asuka.
Asuka.
You gotta give it to Asuka, man. I said it to y'all. By the way, did y'all hear about that survey that WWE did? Apparently,
No.
From several sources, WWE pulled out a survey about what you want to see about Survivor Series. Also, they asked about the network. That's going up, by the way. There's tiered pricing going up. But they asked about Asuka versus Charlotte at Survivor Series. So I think at the end of the day,
But you think Charlotte wins? I don't think Charlotte wins.
well, we'll
It-
talk about that
yeah,
later.
get
We'll
to
talk
this.
about that later. But the Asuka situation, she has to have her image fixed, in my opinion. She has to have it fixed. I don't know why she's not in a singles matchup against Ronda Rousey. That is something that will get
Because
Evolution
Asuka's in
to
SmackDown.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, this could be, by the way, this could be your way that you have Asuka face Rousey being on SmackDown.
Yeah.
This is your way. I like that. I'm just going to say a different one. I'm going to say Ember Moon. Because they've been kind of giving Ember Moon some show on Raw.
Some screen time.
Yeah, so I think she'll be, and then that's a
little bit more
really good
entertaining.
opponent for
She's a
Ronda
little bit more
Rousey.
entertaining, yeah.
If Nikki Bella, this whole thing doesn't end up happening. But
Right.
I'm going to go with Ember Moon. I'm going to go with Raw Superstar. What do you think?
I'm going to go with Ember Moon on this one because there's more promise
See,
for her.
Ryan? I'm just kidding. RKJ Man, excuse me.
RKJ, man.
We don't call Roman Joe. So I shouldn't call you Ryan.
Blastodamus.
My gimmick. You gotta call me.
Blastodamus.
You gotta call me by my gimmick.
Yeah,
name.
Blastodamus. Okay.
Blackie Chan.
So
Blackie
let's move on to the real the
Matches.
matches why this card is happening in the first
The
place.
moneymaker matches.
Let's go with the legends first. Trish Stratus and Lita versus Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. Now we know this shouldn't have happened. It's because Alexa Bliss, we believe, is injured.
And also, I'm hearing rumors that she has a concussion. There's even doubts that she's even gonna make it to this pay-per-view, which is why she did the Alexa Bliss
Why do you
thing.
think Alexa Bliss? Yeah, I was like,
Not
that
Alexa
too.
Bliss, Alicia Fox. Excuse
Probably
me,
the match is
Alicia
gonna
Fox.
get
But
cut
so
short.
I think this 100% is Trish Stratus and Lita are winning this
They
match.
are. They are. Yeah, they are.
110,000%.
They are.
Especially if you're saying about that. So you guys all agree?
Yes.
That's all happened?
Yeah.
They're gonna
Okay,
cut
let's
the
see-
they're gonna cut
yeah.
the match short too.
So let's get we'll do Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella. Because I think the one match we really want to talk about is Lynch and Flair. So we'll go Rousey and Nikki Bella. What do we think happens? There's a lot of good dialogue between Nikki and Ronda on Raw this past week. Ronda bringing up John Cena in the bedroom, and Nikki Bella bringing up
was a huge
you
burn
know
right there.
Ronda
her
Rousey's
mom being a
mom.
disgrace, and then slapping the hell out
She
of her
actually
face.
wrote that promo that Ronda did to Nikki. That was all. That was
Yeah.
all Ronda.
Oh, good.
That
Good
was-
for her,
yeah.
man. I want. I mean, Ronda's great. She's not as good in the mic, but it
Yeah.
seems like she's getting better. Ronda's going to be like
yeah.
the
Do
fucking
nothing, Bella.
woman.
I thought it
Stands
was.
for do
I thought
nothing,
it was a great promo.
She wanted to say
Yes.
that, but they said no. It's a PG show.
I got it.
She should say that.
That was a good promo. But the thing is that I had to get a perspective of a woman, so I had to get my sister to look at this promo, and my sister said, "Why is Ronda so stiff? Like, why is she going so hard?" And I said, "Well,
You know
I go
what?
hard.
I'm
The
honestly-
Bellas are like those. They'd be so like they're like the high school.
The high school cheerleader.
God, man.
bitch.
Dude, like
Yeah,
the
I love them.
popular,
That-
you know."
That's
Yeah.
why the Bella Twins versus the Iconics would have been the perfect feud.
Yes.
But I mean, Nikki's not complaining. She gets a title shot by Raven.
And let's talk about that payday that she's getting. I'm interested to know who's gonna get paid really well, and
Yeah.
it's probably
Yeah.
gonna be Bella.
Yeah, that's true.
And
It's
more-
gonna be a Khabib Conor thing where Nikki gets paid more than Ronda for this.
No,
show.
Ronda's making
Well,
more.
if anything, there's going to be more content for their Total Bellas show. That's for sure.
True. That's a good point. So you think Rousey wins?
Rousey's going to win this.
Rousey's gotta make Nikki tap out in 5
I
minutes.
would
Killer.
be
Killer.
very surprised if Nikki won. I know I said there might be a little turn, but I'm gonna go Ronda too. I don't think this is. But I like Nikki will put on a good performance, maybe a better performance than some other women that have faced her so far. So that will be interesting. But so here's the feud of the show, and this should be the main event, to be honest. Becky Lynch, the champion, versus Charlotte Flair. Last woman standing match. We assume this is the last match they'll face for their current feud. I'll give my prediction first. I think Becky Lynch wins and keeps the title and is the top woman on SmackDown. She goes to diabolical ranks to win this match too.
Beck, it's going to be a. Oh, you want to say something, right?
No, go ahead, Eric.
Okay. Well, what I was going to say is that I'm going to go with Becky on this one. They want to keep her the top heel of the brand, even though people are cheering for her. For Charlotte Flair, there's going to be another day for her to, maybe get her revenge. But on this one, Becky has been getting so much heat and also been getting a lot of praise at the same time. So I'm going to go with Becky on this one.
I think at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you gotta cheer on. I'm rooting for Becky Lynch, and the crowd
Who
is
do you
just.
think is gonna win though?
It's Becky. I mean, the crowd is behind her. It's if you want to do a double turn now will be your time to do it at the WWE Evolution pay-per-view in this last man standing match. So I think you've gotta put the titles still in Becky Lynch's hands, and we go into Royal Rumble. Charlotte wins the match, and we get Ronda Rousey, Charlotte, especially this year at WrestleMania.
Been rooting for that the whole time we've been doing the
event.
podcast.
Yeah. Actually, I was rooting for Asuka.
Yeah. So,
Versus Rousey.
So it should be a good pay-per-view. I was gonna ask. That's why it took a second dead air. But what do you think the buys for this will be good, or do we think maybe even the Saudi Arabian pay-per-view will be more buys?
What
Is
do you
it
mean? I'm
essentially
confused.
the Crown Jewel event is the all men's pay-per-view and Evolution is the all women's? Do you actually think people will watch? There's be like more women that watch this and they'll get more eyes on this, or do you think it will just be a standard pay-per-view What do you think
I'm
will happen?
confused
with
by
that?
your question, to be honest.
What do you think do you think this pay-per-view will get higher ratings because it's the first women's pay-per-view? Or do you think a lot of fans are kind of seeing through this and going, this is not that well booked of a card?
I think people want to see if this is going to be a train wreck, and if there's a train
that's
wreck,
a way to put it.
if this is a train wreck, you can't take your eyes off of it, but you can't avoid possibly seeing the train wreck too. So I think this could be like the Women's Royal Rumble. I criticized the Women's Royal Rumble and said it was going to be BS, and it turned out, in my opinion, to be one of the best. To be the best match on that card.
great,
Nick didn't agree with me, but I thought it was. So they could surprise me. You know how the WWE does. For something that is not promoted very well, they overperform. So they could overperform for this. I have to think they have some surprises up their sleeve because of this whole Saudi Arabia situation, because there's still a lot of things going on. We got the World Series that night. You got football on and a great game that night, the Saints and the Vikings on Sunday Night Football.
Good point, yeah.
You got to do something to get people talking.
Yeah, it's tough booking, and they should have thought about that potentially, that the World Series would be going on too, because this is I know this is going to be a higher rated World Series, but it's Red Sox and Dodgers, and I'm not just saying that because my Dodgers are in, but the LA, Boston markets watch these games. And so I sure as hell am not going to be watching Evolution over the World Series. I probably wouldn't anyways. I'd probably be watching the World Series because I'm a baseball fan. So, I think they do a good job of not putting the Royal Rumble during one of the playoff games for football. I think they screwed up by putting this during a World Series time because I think that's going to lower viewership.
Yeah.
Right? You might get the same buys of people that watch it later like myself, but I think that was stupid planning.
I'm going to do on-demand booking. What are you saying, Eric?
If anything, I think this Evolution pay-per-view might succeed because I've seen a lot of people boycotting this Saudi Arabia pay-per-view, so I don't think people are going to be watching that.
But if you really want to boycott, though, you get rid of your network subscription.
And I think
you don't give money.
WWE.
Exactly, you don't give money.
You don't give money to the WWE. I mean, I've said this too. Like, I have a network subscription, and I should feel bad about it. And I feel kind of bad about it because I criticize WWE all the time, but they take $10 out of my account every single month.
My thing with the network has always been there's more good content than bad content on that thing, so I'll pay the money. Are you gonna pay $19.99 to see more? Apparently, hell no.
Look at it.
If it goes $19.99, sorry, I'm gonna
get my cousin to pay for it.
There's tiered pricing apparently, so we can still get what we get.
Yeah.
But the more you pay for, the more you pay, the more stuff you get. Like you can get independent wrestling or something else. Like
what
events.
I hope they do is they hope that people that are subscribed right now don't have to lose all the stuff they already had. I don't know.
I don't think so.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But all right, podcast is coming to an end. We kind of got all we wanted out of this. Eric and I potentially UFC show coming up next week because we want to talk about UFC 230.
230.
Daniel
Cormier versus the
Black Beast.
Derek
feature
Lewis.
announcer of SmackDown.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff going on with Khabib and boxing and all this stuff. But so if you're craving some UFC content, we didn't give you any of that on this show because it's just too much stuff going on with WWE. Look out for that. We don't know what day it's going to come out, but at least will come out by Friday. Or excuse me, by Saturday. So before the pay-per-view coming up. So, Another Ring Generals podcast.
Hold on. Hey, we got to plug ourselves real quick.
That's right. I always forget. I'll go first. At Nick Nenad on all of my social media except Snapchat. Snapchat is at Nick_Nenad. Also, every Wednesday at 9 a.m. in the morning on OC Rock Radio, Cover 2 podcast. We also put it on YouTube. And I'm going to promote that tonight because we just got a new one come out. So that's all my stuff.
Up too.
That's all my stuff.
And Eric Santos on Facebook and _Santos_9 at Instagram. I have a show on OC Rock Radio, Slam and Saturday. And this Saturday will be the Halloween show. I cannot wait for it. And I've been planning for this for a long time, and I cannot wait. And also check me out at the Video Game Cafe on YouTube and Twitch. Some of the new episodes have been up. Me playing Resident Evil 7, went up against Jack Baker. That crazy motherfucker tried to kill me. But yeah, stay tuned. Scary game, but I'm going to be streaming that. So stay tuned.
So I'm not like you guys. I don't do multiple shows. I only have this show. I used to have multiple shows, but not anymore because I work 50-something hours a week.
I got Best of Three Worlds.
And I go to school full time. But at RKJman, Instagram, RKJman, Facebook, at the RKJman, or you can find me at Ryan Johnson, Twitter, RKJ Man. And just just watch me follow my dreams, y'all, and subscribe also to this podcast. We got
Subscribe.
YouTube, we got SoundCloud.
Like, subscribe, and comment.
Comment. We want your interaction. If you think what I'm saying is blasphemous nonsense, well, what you're saying is blasphemous nonsense. But I look forward to the debate.
Yeah,
And
we'll give you a shout out too. We'll give you a shout out.
Yeah,
out, too.
and go Dodgers. Hopefully they win the World Series.
Yeah, go
And
Dodgers.
definitely. If you're a Dodgers fan, definitely comment. Or if you're a Boston fan,
If you're a Boston fan, stop listening.
stop listening.
I'm kidding.
Or get into a debate with Nick.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
Yeah,
at the end of the
please.
day, whether you're at Boston, whether you're in playing with the Dodgers
LA.
or watching the Dodgers, you're in LA, whether you're at Saudi Arabia, whether you're in Long Island for the Evolution pay-per-view, raise a
Bahamas.
glass in the sky and salute the ring generals.